Did you know that after age 65, your body actually needs more protein than it did when you were younger? Not less, more. Most people have that completely backwards. And getting enough of it could be the single most important thing you do to stay strong, stay steady on your feet, and stay living in your own home for years to come. I'm Grace Wong. I'm 91 years old, and I still cook my own meals, take care of my own garden, and walk to my mailbox every single morning without holding on to anything. Protein is a big reason why. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 15 best protein foods for anyone over 65 in plain language, with no confusing charts or complicated meal plans. Just real food and the real reasons why it matters. Stick with me because near the end of this video, I'm going to share the one mistake most people over 70 make with protein. And it's not what you think. It took me years to figure it out myself, and once I did, everything changed. Let's start from the very beginning, why protein matters so much. After 65, here's something I wish someone had told me a long time ago. Starting around age 50 or so, our bodies begin to slowly lose muscle. Not all at once. Just a little bit every year, quietly, without asking our permission. By the time we're in our 60s and 70s, that adds up. Doctors call this sarcopenia, which is just a fancy word for age-related muscle loss. You don't need to remember that word. Just know that it's real. It happens to almost everyone. And the good news is that we can slow it down significantly. Protein is the building block our muscles are made from. Think of it like the bricks in a wall. If you stop adding bricks, the wall gets weaker over time. Protein is how we keep adding bricks. And here's the part that surprised me most when I learned it. Older bodies are actually less efficient at using protein than younger bodies are. So even if you're eating what feels like a reasonable amount, you may still be coming up short. Most nutrition researchers now say that adults over 65 need somewhere between 1.0 and 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight every single day. That's noticeably more than the old recommendations that most of us grew up hearing. Now, before I go any further, please do check with your doctor or a registered dietitian before making any big changes to your diet. This is especially true if you have kidney disease or any other condition that affects what you can eat. Your doctor knows your full picture. I'm just here to give you good general information and a place to start the conversation. All right, let's get into the foods. The everyday eggs. Number one on my list is eggs. I eat eggs almost every single morning. Have for decades. And I'll tell you, there's a reason why eggs have been a staple food across every culture in the world for as long as people have been cooking. One large egg has about 6 grams of protein. That doesn't sound like a lot, but eggs are what we call complete protein. That means they contain all 9 of the essential amino acids your body needs but cannot make on its own. Amino acids are the small building blocks that make up protein. Your body needs all 9 of the essential ones to repair and build muscle properly, and eggs deliver every single one of them. Eggs are also soft and easy to chew, which matters more as we get older. They're quick to cook, they're affordable, and they are extraordinarily versatile. Scrambled, boiled, poached, made into a simple omelette with a little cheese and whatever vegetables you have on hand. One thing I want to mention. For decades, people worried about eggs and cholesterol. The latest nutrition research has largely cleared eggs of that concern for most healthy adults. But again, if your doctor has given you specific guidance about eggs, follow their advice. They know your individual health situation. If you're someone who tends to skip breakfast or just isn't very hungry in the morning, a simple soft-boiled egg is one of the gentlest and easiest ways to get protein in early. I keep a few already boiled in my refrigerator at all times, ready whenever I want one. The quiet champion, Greek yogurt. Number 2 is Greek yogurt, and this one might just become your new best friend. Regular yogurt is fine, but Greek yogurt has been strained to remove most of the watery liquid, which means it ends up much thicker and much higher in protein. A single cup of plain Greek yogurt contains somewhere between 17 and 20 grams of protein. That's remarkable for something so easy to eat. It's also a wonderful source of calcium, which keeps our bones strong. And it contains probiotics. Those are the beneficial bacteria that help our digestive system run smoothly. As we age, digestion can sometimes become more sluggish or sensitive, and probiotics can be genuinely helpful for that. Now, the one thing to watch with Greek yogurt is the flavored varieties. Many of them have quite a lot of added sugar. I always buy plain and then add my own flavor. A drizzle of honey, some sliced banana, a small handful of berries. That way, I control what goes into it. Greek yogurt is also wonderful in savory dishes. I sometimes use it instead of sour cream. It works beautifully on top of a baked potato or stirred into a sauce. If dairy doesn't agree with you, don't worry. We have plenty more options coming up. Fish. The heart and muscle food. Number 3, 4, and 5 are all fish because fish is so important that I can't just mention it once and move on. Let's start with salmon. Salmon is one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the entire planet. A 3-ounce serving gives you about 22 grams of high-quality protein. And on top of that, salmon is rich in something called omega-3 fatty acids. These are healthy fats that are tremendously good for heart health, brain health, and they've even been shown to help with reducing inflammation in the body. Inflammation is something that tends to increase as we age, and it's connected to joint pain, stiffness, and a number of chronic conditions. I know salmon can feel like a special occasion food, but here's a practical tip. Canned salmon is just as nutritious as fresh, and it costs a fraction of the price. I keep a few cans in my pantry at all times. You can mix it with a little plain Greek yogurt or light mayonnaise, some diced celery and onion, and have a wonderful salmon salad in 5 minutes flat. Number 4 is tuna. Canned tuna in water is one of the most affordable high-protein foods available anywhere. 3 ounces gives you about 20 grams of protein. I've been eating tuna salad since I was a young woman, and I still love it. One small caution with tuna: it does contain some mercury, which is a naturally occurring metal that can accumulate in a large fish. Most health organizations suggest limiting tuna to about 2 or 3 servings per week. Light tuna, which usually comes from skipjack tuna, tends to have less mercury than albacore white tuna, worth keeping in mind. Number 5 is cod, halibut, or any other white fish you enjoy. These are mild in flavor, very gentle on the stomach, easy to cook, and packed with lean protein. If you're someone who doesn't love the taste of salmon or tuna, a simple baked cod with a little lemon and olive oil is a beautiful, nourishing meal. Can I ask you something? Think about the last few days. How many times did you eat a real source of protein? Not just a cracker or a piece of bread, but actual protein. An egg, some fish, a piece of chicken. A lot of older adults I talk to realize, when they really think about it, that they are not eating nearly as much protein as they thought. It tends to slip without us noticing. Maybe appetite has changed a little. Maybe cooking for one feels like too much effort some days. Maybe old habits just haven't caught up with what our bodies now need. That's not a criticism. That's just life. And it's exactly why I wanted to make this video. You don't have to change everything overnight. Even adding one more source of protein each day is a meaningful step. That's it. Just a one. Now let's keep going because I have some options coming up that might really surprise you. Poultry, chicken, and turkey. Number 6 is chicken breast, and number 7 is turkey. Chicken breast is one of the leanest, most protein-dense foods you can eat. A 3-ounce serving has around 26 grams of protein with very little fat. It's filling, it's versatile, and it works in soups, stews, salads, sandwiches, almost anything you can think of. Now, I know that cooking chicken from scratch every day isn't always realistic. Here's what I do. Once or twice a week, I'll roast a batch of chicken thighs or a simple rotisserie chicken. Then I use that cooked chicken all week long in different ways. Slice some over a salad one day, shred some into a bowl of vegetable soup the next. Mix it into scrambled eggs on another morning. Cook once, eat several times. That's always been my philosophy. Turkey is wonderful as well. Turkey breast is actually slightly higher in protein per ounce than chicken. And don't feel like turkey is only for the holidays. Sliced turkey from the deli counter makes a perfectly good, easy lunch. Just keep an eye on sodium levels in packaged deli meats. Some of them are quite high in salt, which can be an issue for blood pressure. A warm reminder here. Make sure poultry is always cooked thoroughly to a safe temperature. We can be a little more susceptible to foodborne illness as we age, so food safety really does matter. Beans, lentils, and the plant protein. Powerhouses. Number 8 is beans and lentils. And this is where I want to spend a little extra time because I think these foods are wildly underappreciated. A single cup of cooked lentils contains about 18 grams of the protein. Black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, they're all in a similar range. And plant proteins like these come packaged together with fiber, which is something most of us over 65 could genuinely use more of. Fiber helps with digestion, helps stabilize blood sugar, and keeps us feeling satisfied after meals. Lentils are my personal favorite, partly because they cook faster than most other beans. No soaking required. I make a simple lentil soup at least once a week. Lentils, vegetable broth, a bit of onion and garlic, some diced tomatoes, a little cumin. 45 minutes from start to finish, and I have a pot that lasts me several days. Now, I should mention something honest. Plant proteins on their own are often what we call incomplete proteins, meaning they don't contain all 9 essential amino acids in the right proportions. But this is easy to solve, simply eating a variety of different plant proteins throughout the day, or combining them with grains like rice, which has amino acids that beans lack, gives your body everything it needs. The old rule about needing to combine them at the exact same meal has been updated. As long as you eat a good variety throughout the day, your body figures it out. Canned beans are just as nutritious as dried ones you cook yourself, and they save a tremendous amount of time. Just rinse them under water before using, which removes a lot of the added sodium. We are about halfway through our list, and I want to pause and say something. If this is helpful to you, would you do me a small favor? Leave a comment below and tell me which protein food you're going to try adding to your routine first. It really does make a difference to hear from you. It lets me know what kinds of videos are actually useful, and it makes this feel like the conversation it's meant to be. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I put out videos every week with practical information for living well as we get older, and I would love to have you as a regular visitor. All right, back to our list. Cottage cheese, tofu, and a few more favorites. Number 9 is cottage cheese. I think cottage cheese fell out of fashion for a while, but it has made quite a comeback, and for good reason. Half a cup of cottage cheese has about 14 grams of protein. It's soft, mild, and extremely easy on the digestive system. It's also rich in calcium and a B vitamin called riboflavin, which helps your body produce energy. I love cottage cheese with fruit. A scoop of cottage cheese with some sliced peaches or a handful of pineapple chunks is one of my favorite afternoon snacks. You can also eat it savory, with a few cherry tomatoes and a little black pepper. It's really quite satisfying. Number 10 is tofu. Now, I know some of you might be raising an eyebrow at tofu, but hear me out. Tofu is made from soybeans, and soybeans are one of the only plant foods that is a complete protein on its own. A half cup of firm tofu has about 10 grams of protein. Tofu absorbs whatever flavors you cook it with, which makes it remarkably adaptable. It works beautifully in stir-fries, soups, or even just pan-fried with a little soy sauce and ginger. Silken tofu, which is the soft, smooth variety, can even be blended into a smoothie, and you would never know it was there. It just makes the smoothie creamier and more filling. There is a lot of information floating around about soy and whether it's safe, particularly for women with a history of certain hormone-related conditions. If that applies to you, please do talk with your doctor before eating large amounts of soy. For most people, moderate amounts of soy foods are considered safe and nutritious according to current research. Number 11 is edamame. These are simply young soybeans, and they are one of my favorite snacks. A cup of shelled edamame has about 17 grams of protein. You can find them frozen in almost any grocery store. Steam them for a few minutes, sprinkle a tiny pinch of sea salt over them, and you have a snack that is both fun to eat and genuinely good for you. Dairy and a few more essential options. Number 12 is milk and fortified dairy alternatives. A cup of cow's milk gives you about 8 grams of protein, along with calcium and vitamin D, two nutrients that are absolutely critical for bone health as we age. If you enjoy milk and it agrees with you, it is a simple, easy way to add protein throughout the day. Add it to oatmeal, drink it with meals, use it in soups or smoothies. If cow's milk doesn't work for you because of lactose intolerance or a personal preference, look for plant-based milks that are specifically fortified with protein and calcium. Soy milk comes closest to cow's milk nutritionally and typically has about 7 to 8 grams of protein per cup. Almond milk and rice milk, on the other hand, tend to be quite low in protein on their own, so they aren't a good substitute if protein is your goal. Always check the label. Number 13 is cheese. Yes, cheese counts. A 1-ounce serving of most hard cheeses, cheddar, Swiss, Parmesan, contains between 6 and 8 grams of protein. Cheese is also one of the most calorie-efficient ways to add protein to a meal that might otherwise be too light, like a small bowl of soup or a simple salad. I keep a block of sharp cheddar in my refrigerator almost always. A couple of slices with an apple or some whole grain crackers is a perfectly respectable snack. And grated Parmesan over pasta or vegetables adds flavor and protein without much effort at all. Cheese can be high in sodium and saturated fat, so if your doctor has told you to watch either of those, just keep your portions moderate. A little cheese goes a long way in terms of flavor anyway. Nuts, seeds, and protein. Powder. Number 14 is nuts and seeds. A quarter cup of almonds has about 7 grams of protein. Walnuts, cashews, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. They're all good sources of plant protein, and they also provide healthy fats, fiber, and a range of vitamins and minerals. I keep a small jar of mixed nuts on my counter, not the kind with a lot of added salt or flavoring, just plain roasted mixed nuts. When I'm making lunch or a light dinner and I'm not sure it's going to be quite enough on its own, I grab a small handful of nuts alongside it. It rounds out the meal nicely. Natural peanut butter and almond butter are also wonderful. 2 tablespoons of peanut butter give you about 8 grams of protein. I spread it on whole grain toast for breakfast sometimes, or stir it into a smoothie. Just look for varieties where the only ingredient is the nut itself, or the nut with just a little salt. Some commercial peanut butters have quite a bit of added sugar and oil that you really don't need. Number 15 is protein powder. Now, this is a supplement, not a whole food, so I list it last. But for some of us, especially those with smaller appetites or difficulty chewing, protein powder can be a genuinely practical tool. Whey protein, which is made from milk, and plant-based protein powders made from peas or brown rice are the most commonly available options. A single scoop typically adds 20 to 25 grams of protein. I want to be clear that whole food should always come first. Real food comes with fiber, vitamins, minerals, and other things that protein powder simply doesn't have. But if you are struggling to meet your protein needs through food alone, adding a scoop of protein powder to a smoothie, a bowl of oatmeal, or even a glass of milk is a reasonable strategy to have in your toolkit. If you are considering protein powder, it's worth mentioning to your doctor, especially if you have kidney issues. And choose products that have been third-party tested for quality and purity, since supplements are not as tightly regulated as food. Now, the one mistake most people over 70 may remember. At the beginning, I said I was going to tell you about the one thing most people over 70 get wrong when it comes to protein. Here it is. They eat almost all of their protein at dinner, a big piece of chicken or fish at night, and then very little protein the rest of the day. Maybe some toast in the morning, a light sandwich at noon, and then a large protein-heavy dinner. Here's why that's a problem. Our bodies can only use a certain amount of protein at once for muscle building and repair. Researchers generally believe that amount is somewhere around 25 to 40 grams per meal. Anything beyond that in a single sitting tends to get used for energy rather than going toward muscle. And what you ate for dinner cannot go back and fix what your muscles needed at breakfast. What this means practically is that spreading your protein throughout the day, across all 3 meals, and even your snacks, is significantly more effective than loading it all into one meal. So, instead of a light breakfast and a light lunch with a big protein dinner, think about making every meal count. A couple of eggs in the morning, some Greek yogurt or cottage cheese at lunch, a handful of nuts for a snack, and then your fish or chicken or beans at dinner. This one shift, simply spreading your protein more evenly across the day, may be the single most impactful thing you can do for maintaining muscle strength as you get older. I told you it wasn't what you expected. Let me give you a simple picture of what a good protein day might look like. In the morning, 2 scrambled eggs with a small handful of shredded cheese, glass of milk, or a cup of Greek yogurt on the side. That's already somewhere around 30 grams of protein before you've even left the kitchen. At lunch, a bowl of lentil soup with some whole grain bread, or a tuna salad on toast, or a bowl of cottage cheese with some fruit, another 15 to 20 grams. A small afternoon snack, a handful of almonds, or some edamame, or a small piece of cheese with apple slices, another 7 to 10 grams. And at dinner, a piece of salmon or chicken or a serving of beans and rice, another 20 to 25 grams. Add those up, and you're looking at somewhere between 70 and 85 grams of protein spread throughout the day. For many adults over 65, that's right where you want to be. Though again, your doctor or dietitian can help you figure out the right amount for your specific body and health situation. And not a single thing on that list is complicated, expensive, or hard to find. A quick word about chewing and appetite. I want to mention 2 things briefly because I know they matter to many of us. First, chewing. If dental issues or dentures make chewing difficult, please know that many of the best protein foods are naturally soft or can be prepared in a soft way. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, lentil soup, canned fish, tofu, and smoothies with protein powder are all very gentle options. You do not have to eat tough cuts of meat to get enough protein. There are plenty of delicious ways around it. Second, appetite. Many of us find that our appetite decreases as we get older. The sensation of hunger simply isn't as strong as it once was. This is actually a real physiological change, not just a matter of willpower or preference. If this is you, try eating smaller amounts more frequently rather than waiting until you feel very hungry to eat. And consider making protein part of every single eating occasion, even small snacks, so that you're consistently giving your muscles the building blocks they need throughout the day. Let's recap. What we covered here are all 15 of the best protein foods for seniors over 65. One more time, quickly. 1. Eggs. 2. Greek yogurt. 3. Salmon. 4. Tuna. 5. white fish like cod or halibut. 6. Chicken. 7. Turkey. 8. Beans and lentils. 9. Cottage cheese. 10. Tofu. 11. Edamame. 12. Milk or fortified soy milk. 13. Cheese. 14. Nuts and seeds, including nut butters. And 15. Protein powder when needed as a supplement. And the most important thing to remember, spread your protein evenly across the whole day, not just at dinner. That one habit can make a real difference in how strong and steady you feel. I want to say something to you before we finish. Getting older is not the same as giving up. I am 91 years old. I still do my own grocery shopping. I still make my own meals from scratch. I still sit in my garden and feel the sun on my face. And I am not telling you this to brag, because believe me, my knees have opinions about the stairs that I do not always enjoy hearing. I'm telling you because I want you to see what is possible. Not perfect health, not turning back the clock, but staying capable, staying yourself, living in your own home, on your own terms, for as long as you possibly can. Food is one of the most powerful tools we have to make that happen. Not pills, not expensive programs, not complicated routines. Just good, honest food, eaten thoughtfully. You can do this. I really believe that. If this video was helpful to you, I would love it if you shared it with a friend or family member who might benefit. And please do leave me a comment below. Tell me which protein food surprised you most, or which one you're going to try adding first. I read every single comment, and I love hearing from you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that button. I would love to have you join our little community here. Take good care of yourself this week. Eat something nourishing. Drink your water. And remember, every good choice you make today is a gift to the version of you who wants to still be living well 5 and 10 years from now. I'll see you in the next one.